What is going on, everybody? It is Mike Charlip once again coming at you on my website, MikeJC and I am back after taking an extended break from pretty much everything on my website except for doing writings on another website. I have kind of been taking a break, needed some time to recharge, some time to myself, but I'm back and going to be doing a lot more of these and a lot more writings on my website for now. And so today I'm going to be discussing the AEW pay-per-view Full Gear taking place this weekend, and it is the second annual Full Gear pay-per-view, and I am pretty excited about this one, especially for the main matches that are taking place. There's one or two matches that I'm not very fond of, and I'll talk about those, but considering that this is the only thing that I will be discussing today, let's get right into the matches and discuss the first match, which is the buy-in match. It is Serena Deeb defending the NWA World Women's Championship against Allysin Kay. And this is a pretty interesting match, considering that neither of these women work for NWA. That is correct. Serena Deeb works for AEW, and NWA was cool with her winning the belt, which was awesome. I still don't know why they took it off Thunder Rosa right now, but Allysin Kay was working for NWA and no longer works for NWA. So this is going to be a hell of a match that I'm sure Serena Deeb is going to win. I was one of the supporters of Serena Deeb from day one. We saw how well she did in the Mae Young Classic a few years ago. She was doing training in WWE. She wasn't wrestling. Then she had a couple of matches here at AEW, and they picked her up. They signed her. And she had a match a few weeks ago with Big Swole, and I am not a huge fan of Big Swole. I don't get it. I don't get the hype. I think she's fine in the ring, but when that match happened, and I mean, we all knew that they were doing that match to build her up for a title match that she lost. But to me, Serena Deeb should have been the one to get the win there, and had that title match. But Serena Deeb is now the NWA champion, and this is going to be her second defense on AEW, and her second defense in general, as far as I know. And this is bound to be a hell of a match. I really hope that after this match, AEW signs Allysin Kay, because they need American women in their division. Boy, do they need American women. Now, Allysin Kay would be one of the best pickups that they could get. She's going to have an amazing showing in this match, because we all know how good she is. She's amazing. She's one of the best women's wrestlers out there today. And Serena Deeb is most definitely going to retain here. I don't know what the deal is between NWA and AEW. Obviously, there's something going on there if they're okay with an AEW person winning their belt. Since Allysin Kay just left, I don't think she'll be winning that belt back anytime soon. But like I said, this should be a hell of a match, and I'm surprised that this is on the buy-in and not on the main card. But I guess because it's so last minute, that kind of makes sense. So the next match that I'm going to discuss, and the match that was originally on the buy-in, but was moved to the main card, and I'm pretty happy that it was, actually. It is Orange Cassidy going one-on-one with John Silver, number 4 of the Dark Order. This match is going to be pretty interesting. I mean, both of these guys are really good. John Silver's character work has been amazing if you've been watching Being the Elite, and just everything that he's been doing to take advantage of that has been great. He's really getting himself over, and he's doing it on his own. He did it's working. And Orange Cassidy, we all know how good he is after everything that he went through with Jericho. He's had some good matches here and there with Cody. His match with Brody Lee wasn't horrible. There was a lot of interference in that one too. But the reason that this match is happening is because the Dark Order cost Orange Cassidy his match against Cody. It was a lumberjack match that had a bunch of people around the ring, and the Dark Order got involved. John Silver was the main culprit, so this match is happening because of it. And I think that this is going to be a hell of a match, and I'm happy that these guys are getting main card status for it, and I think Orange Cassidy is most definitely going to win. I don't think they want to give Orange Cassidy a loss like this when John Silver, yes, he is getting himself over. He's not going to be winning singles matches. He's in a tag team with Alex Reynolds, and that's what he should be doing for now. I'm happy that he's getting this opportunity, but there is no way that he should win this match. But like I said, it should be a hell of a match, because both of these guys are great workers and are really good at pretty much everything. So I am actually looking forward to that match. The next match is the Elite Deletion match. Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. And I was not happy when they decided to continue this one. And that's kind of why I'm not excited for this match. Matt Hardy's run in AEW has not gotten off to a great start. He's been hurt a few times in matches against Guevara. He had a concussion on a fall during a match, and he still worked the match. I don't know what it is, but him and Guevara don't seem to work very well together. And I thought that this was over after that hardcore match that they had, where Matt Hardy had that fall, and he still won, because they couldn't stop the match, because the stipulation was if Matt Hardy lost, he would leave AEW. And we knew that wasn't going to happen. But they needed a better way to go about that, and it just was not good. And I thought that they were done. But apparently we were all wrong, and they need to have another match. But apparently this is going to be a cinematic match that is pre-recorded. So I guess they want to make sure that nobody gets hurt. And, I'm sure it'll be fine. And Sammy Guevara will most probably be getting the win. And this feud needs to end forever. Sammy needs to move on from this. Matt needs to move on from this. It needs to end. There's not much that I could say. Sammy Guevara is really good, but some people just don't gel. He does not work well with Matt Hardy, and we've been seeing that for a while now. For over 2 months, this feud has been going on, and I consider that too long for this one. But Sammy Guevara has really upped his game in the ring lately, but considering this will be a cinematic match, we won't be getting a lot of that. So, we'll see how this goes, but Sammy Guevara will probably get the win. I don't know what he's going to do after this, but obviously it'll be something Inner Circle related, and we'll get to that later with one of the matches on the card. The next match that I'm going to discuss is the Women's Championship, the AEW Women's Championship. Hikaru Shida is once again defending against Nyla Rose, and this is the other match that I am not excited about. The women's division is hurting right now in AEW, and I spoke about it earlier. They signed Serena Deeb. They should sign Allison Kay. They should sign Layla Hirsch. They need to sign more American talent, because they've been relying on Japanese talent, and not all of them are really able to get here. And there's been a lot of injuries in the division. Statlander's going to be gone for a little while longer. Britt Baker just came back, and she should be the one challenging for the title and beating Hikaru Shida, and I think she will at some point. Nyla Rose should not be getting another opportunity. Should not still be number one in the rankings because she hasn't wrestled in over a month. I'm just tired of these two facing each other. I'm tired of the same people facing each other in this division over and over and over again. And they need to do more. Like I said, they need to sign more people, more reliable people, and stop relying on mainly Japanese talent. Hikaru Shida is really good, and she happens to live in America, so that's why she's able to have matches. But when Riho was the champion, as we all know, she was on excursion a lot, and she never defended the belt. And I don't think that Nyla Rose should be the one to beat Hikaru Shida. That needs to be Britt Baker. Britt Baker is the best woman in the division right now. From a character standpoint, she's really, really good, and she needs to be the one to dethrone Hikaru Shida. I'm sure this match will be fine. These two always have good matches. But yeah, I don't want to see Nyla beat Shida. This is just a throwaway match to me that Shida should win handily. And I don't want to see these two face each other for a very long time after this. So the next match, and I hinted about this one before, is Chris Jericho going one-on-one with MJF. And if MJF wins, he and Wardlow join the Inner Circle. Now, I have not loved the build to this. I figured that whatever they were doing was going to lead to this kind of match. And the stipulation as well. But the way they got here was kind of annoying to me. A lot of the things that they did didn't make a lot of sense. Why did MJF all of a sudden want to be in a group? Oh, because he lost the title match and he needs backup, even though he already has backup. That doesn't make much sense. Why did they do a musical when they were eating dinner together? What did that accomplish? Now, I understand that musical segment was cool and everything and entertaining, but was it necessary? Absolutely not. It was completely unnecessary and didn't accomplish anything. And people are saying it's one of the best segments ever. I argue that doesn't make much sense because it didn't do anything to help to push the story along. And that's what matters to me. The story needs to mean something. And the story didn't really start making sense until the go-home show. After they did the musical, they did the debate, where the town hall thing, where Jericho was finally like, why should we let you join? Or what makes us think that you won't just turn on us like you do to everybody? And I didn't care for that segment much either. It wasn't until, like I said, the go-home show, where Jericho said that he doesn't believe that MJF has the killer instinct to be part of the Inner Circle, and that everybody else does but him. And MJF went out of his way to prove that he has that killer instinct by not only winning his tag match with Wardlow against Guevara and Ortiz, but also attacking Jericho after the match. I don't know where this is going to go. Obviously, I don't think MJF is going to lose, but is it going to lead to some kind of infighting in the Inner Circle? Is MJF going to want to become the leader? Because as we've heard before, these guys are both two alphas and don't really do well with somebody else, two alphas in the group or whatever. Is this how they're going to phase Jericho out for a Fozzy tour? Is the inner circle going to split up in a way, and some people are going to side with MJF and some people are going to side with Jericho? I don't know. That's the interesting part about it, but obviously there's something going on with MJF and Wardlow that's gonna end up happening at some point. I don't know if MJF loses, they could blame it on Wardlow and that could start that feud, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think MJF is going to win somehow, and it's going to lead to, like I said, some kind of infighting within the group that possibly splits them up or leads to disagreements between Jericho and the other members because MJF is part of the group now. That seems to make more sense from a story standpoint. And they can wait to do the MJF and Wardlow feud because that's going to happen. We all know that's going to happen. So for that reason, I'm going to pick MJF, and it should be a great match because both guys are great at what they do. I just didn't love the build to this. The build to this was not for me. And that's sad because I love Jericho and I love MJF. They're both great talents. I just didn't understand why we needed a musical and all the stuff that led up to this didn't make much sense to me. So, moving on to the next match. It is the TNT Championship match. Cody defending against Darby Allin. Now, we've seen these two face before, and every single time that they get in the ring together, they have great matches. But there hasn't been a lot to this story up until the go-home show, just like the Jericho MJF feud. They've showed Darby Allin having, watching the matches that Cody was having, defending against Orange Cassidy and the tag match that he had this week, and there hasn't been a lot of interaction between the two. But Darby Allin earned this shot by beating Ricky Starks, and that feud was going on what seemed like forever. And on the go-home show of Dynamite, Cody said that Darby Allin is an amazing talent, and he was the only one who saw that. And he had to prove that he was worth signing by having a match with him. And that Darby believed that TNT didn't want him as the champion, which is not true. TNT would love for Darby to be the face of their show, and Cody said even he would want that, but not under these circumstances with him taking the belt from Cody, and that Darby wants to be the ace of AEW, but as long as Cody's around, that's not going to happen. This was a hell of a promo that sold us a ticket to this match because, like I said, despite the fact that these two have had great matches in the past, there wasn't a lot going into the build to this match. And either way, it's going to be a great match, and I think Darby's going to win. I have heard a lot of people say that they are unsure. They don't think Darby's going to win because Cody just won the belt back, but the TNT title's not the world title. You can kind of toss this one around a little, and it's okay. It's fine because it's, in a sense, a TV title. It doesn't need to have 6-month reigns or 3-month reigns or anything like that. I think that Darby needs to win here because it'll give him more credibility as a star that we know that he is, and I think that everybody in the company knows that he is. He's a daredevil. He's he's crazy. Let's be honest. Darby Allin is crazy and will do anything to entertain us, even if it means hurting himself, which I am not a fan of, and I wish he wouldn't do every single week. But Darby Allin is great. really, really great. And I think that him beating Cody would be great because it could lead to the heel turn that we're all looking for out of Cody. And I don't believe the whole BS where Cody says that he doesn't believe in the heels faces dynamic and blah blah blah. Cody needs to be a legit heel. That's what he's good at. I know that it's hard for him to do that right now because he's so over as a babyface and he sells a ticket to all his matches every single time he picks up a mic. But I want to see Darby hold a belt. I want to see him actually beat Cody because he's never actually done that in singles competition. It's time for that to happen. It's time for Darby to get a belt. It's time for Darby to be a champion. And it's time to see more cracks in Cody. And that eventual heel turn that we all know is coming at some point. And this is the time to do it. So the next match that I'm going to discuss is the finals of the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament. The winner receiving a future AEW World Championship match. Hangman Adam Page going one-on-one with Kenny Omega. I cannot wait for this match. Now, when this tournament was announced, and we saw that both of these guys were on opposite sides of the tournament, we knew this was the finals. There was no doubt in anybody's mind that this wasn't going to be the finals. After they lost the tag titles and subsequently broke up after that, Kenny wanted nothing to do with Hangman, said that he was better off as a singles guy anyway because that's what Kenny Omega is here to do, be a world champion. Whereas Hangman was down on his luck, not sure if he could ever be a singles guy again, and felt like he needed Kenny. And that being the tag champs was the only thing left for him because he was so embarrassed about being the guy, not being the first AEW champion when he said that he would be. And it sent him into this downward spiral that cost him friendships, cost him everything. And Kenny Omega has been, ever since he chose to break up with Hangman, has really been showing more charisma than ever before. The Kenny Omega that we all know, the cleaner Kenny Omega, the Kenny Omega that we wanted from day one. And Hangman, even though he says he's ready for this match and ready to face Kenny, he knows how good Kenny is, and he knows that he's going to have to step up his game better than ever before to beat Kenny Omega. But in my eyes, and probably everybody else's, that is not going to happen. I've been saying from day one that as soon as Moxley won the belt, Kenny Omega would be the one to take it off of him. And that is going to happen because Kenny is going to win this tournament, and when they have their championship match, Kenny is going to win. And that is the way it should be. It's going to be a hell of a match. It's going to be, this match in particular is going to be probably the best singles match on the entire card. Kenny versus Hangman is going to be a stellar match. And there's going to be a lot of drama, a lot of near falls, a lot of action. And like I said, Kenny Omega will win. It's going to be so good. We're going to be I think we're going to be talking about this match for a very long time. And like I said, Kenny will win. He will go on to win the titles, win the title, and I don't know what's next for Hangman after this. Obviously, his downward spiral is going to continue, and the sympathy for him is going to grow. What does that lead to? I have absolutely no idea. But it's obviously he should go for the TV title, right? After that, I mean, he would have to win some matches here and there, and Like I said, it doesn't have to be Cody. It could be Darby Allin. But either way, I feel like that's where he's going to go after this. I don't know. It's really hard to say. Obviously, there might be something brewing between him and the Young Bucks again. You never know. I don't know. But like I said, I can't wait for this match. Kenny's going to win. Kenny's going to win that title opportunity. And he's going to win the belt down the line. We all know it's going to happen. It's what needs to happen. So the next match that I'm going to discuss is the match that we've all been waiting for. FTR defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against the Young Bucks. And the stipulation, which is the one thing that I hate about this, if the Young Bucks lose, they can never challenge for the Tag Team Championships again. And the new stipulation that was just added recently, Tully Blanchard, the manager of FTR, is banned from ringside, which is the right thing to do because we just want a wrestling match out of these two teams. Now, this is the match that we've all been waiting for. This is the one match that everybody's been talking about ever since FTR left WWE. The one and only match that everybody wanted. The one and only match that we've been discussing for years upon years that could possibly be the best tag team match ever. Literally ever. Now, I don't want to put that kind of hope on the match, but it's very hard not to think that could happen. The build to this match, however, has not been great. After FTR won the titles, the Young Bucks were kind of just angry. Just really, really angry. And they were taking out on people that didn't deserve it. They were kicking interviewers, kicking Tony Schiavone, breaking Schiavone's cell phone, kicking referees, and just accepting the fact that they were getting fined every week for doing these things. And then they received an opportunity because they did a lottery to pick for the number one contenders, which that didn't make sense either because 3 out of the 4 teams didn't deserve to be in there. And it was very, very obvious that the Young Bucks would be winning that. And then they did the injury angle. Now, going back to a couple of years ago, there was criticism of the Young Bucks that the Young Bucks didn't know how to tell stories and didn't know how to sell. And because of that, Matt Jackson sold a back injury for 18 months straight. And that was overkill. And it feels like they're doing that again. They did the whole angle where the FTR put his ankle in a chair and stomped on it. And I just feel like they're trying to overdo another injury angle. Now, there is reports that he has a real injury and that they did that to sell the fact that he does have a real knee injury that he's not getting surgery on. But the added stipulation of saying that they're not gonna challenge for the titles ever again if they lose is kind of BS, because nobody wants to see the Young Bucks in singles competition. Nobody. They are a tag team. They are a forever tag team, for life. Nobody wants to see Nick as a singles. Nobody wants to see Matt as a singles. People will tell you that they do, and they'll say that I'm full of shit and that could happen and people would be okay with it. They're not going to be okay with it. The Young Bucks are a tag team. So to put this stipulation on their match, the same stipulation that Cody put on his world title match exactly 1 year ago at the first Full Gear, is stupid. Because to me, that gives away the result of the match. Because the Young Bucks are winning here. It's just not believable that they would never challenge for the tag titles again, because, as I said, nobody wants to see them in singles. Nobody. Not a single person. And if you do, you're lying. So I think that they're going to win this match. And I think it's, like I said, has the potential to be the best tag team match ever. But I am not going to put that on the match, because if I do that, it will just be disappointing. But I still think it'll be a very, very, very good match. And I don't think that we are going to be disappointed. People have argued that they should have waited until we had full crowds again. And unfortunately, we don't know when that's going to happen. So it was just they couldn't hold it off anymore. I think that they were trying to wait until we had full crowds again, but there was just no way that you could wait any longer to have this match. And either way, like I said, it's going to be great. We're all going to love it. And FTR has been on a tear since they came in. Their first match that they lose should be against the Young Bucks. That's the way it should be. The Young Bucks need to win here. And they need to be the tag team champions. The fact that they haven't been in this long, we get it. You don't want to put the titles on yourselves because you, quote unquote, run the company. But it's time. They should be the champions. And this is where it needs to happen. Now, will these two teams end up having like a trilogy of matches? It's very possible. How far down the line do I think that will happen? I don't think it'll be right away. I think that they will milk it for all that they can, because the Young Bucks are going to win this match, and they're going to be ecstatic that they won this match, to the point where they don't want to face FTR again for a very, very long time. And that's the way it should be. Save it. Save the rematch for down the line. Don't do what WWE does, where you have the rematch 4 times in a span of 2 months. Don't do that. Save it. Save it for later. And that's all I gotta say. I've been talking about this match for way too long already. Young Bucks have to win. It's gonna be good. So, moving on to the last match on the card, and the match that should be the main event and is the main event. An I Quit match for the AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley defending against Eddie Kingston. Oh man, the storytelling that these two have been doing leading to this match has been amazing. Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley both are so good at selling you a ticket to a match that this match is going to be off the charts crazy. Last year, when Moxley had that unsanctioned match with Kenny Omega, whatever they call it now, the Lights Out match, I think it's going to top that. And the reason I think that is because these two, real life, are really good friends, and that has been a story element that they have used to death, and it has worked, and it has made it 10 times better. Eddie Kingston hates the fact that he had to sell out to get this opportunity. He never wanted to be the guy that went to a mainstream company. He wanted to do it his way. And it eats him up inside that he considers himself a sellout now. And that the only thing that he can do in his life now is be a world champion. And the promo on the Go Home show alone was enough to sell you a ticket to this match. Eddie Kingston said that once he wins the title, he's going to give it to his mother and tell her this is the reason that you don't have grandchildren, and this is the reason why you don't have a daughter-in-law, because this is all I ever wanted in life, to be a champion. And Moxley going out of his way to say that I made a promise to your mother that I would look out for you, and I didn't keep that promise. But it eats him up inside that he has to hurt his friend because Eddie made a promise to his mother that he can't keep. And that's winning the title, because Jon Moxley is going to do whatever he can to keep that title. And Eddie Kingston told Moxley that if you want to beat me, you are going to have to kill me. This was the best promo that I've seen in a very long time between two guys that have such chemistry because of their real-life friendship. And I am certain that this is going to be a dangerous match, a very painful match. And I think it's going to be really good. And as I said earlier, there's the only person that's taking that title off of Moxley is Kenny Omega. And I think we've known that from day one. Kenny Omega will be the guy to beat Moxley for that belt, whether it's at the next pay-per-view or before it. It's probably going to be at the next pay-per-view. But either way, this is going to be a hell of a match. And I'm sure they're going to tell a hell of a story while in the match, because that's what these guys do. The build to this match has been great. The story of Eddie Kingston getting his opportunity because he never lost the Battle Royal. The fact that he got his first opportunity and never tapped out. He passed out. So in his eyes, he deserved another shot. All of that has worked perfectly to the build of this match. And what as I said, I said already what I think is going to happen next for Moxley. But what's next for Kingston? This past week on Dynamite, on the go home show of Dynamite, we saw the reemergence of Pac. Pac has been he's been away for 7 months, pretty much since the pandemic started, because he is unable to travel to America. And I think that his next feud when he comes back is most definitely going to be with Eddie Kingston, because they even showed in that promo when Eddie Kingston first put his group together, and he talked to the Lucha Bros and said, "Where's your little British friend?" That was the seeds being planted. So sign me up for Eddie Kingston versus Pac, because I'm sure that'll be a hell of a match. So that is all of the matches for this card for the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view taking place this weekend. And as you can tell, I am super excited for all the big matches on the card. Not so excited about the women's match, the AEW women's title match. Not so excited about the Elite Deletion match. But every other match is going to be great. And I think that AEW does what they do best, and that's tell great stories for the most part, and tie up all the loose ends and get to the end of that story in a match. And as I said, they don't need to overrun any of these feuds, and we don't need 30 rematches from any of these feuds, especially the women's title match. Just do it all in moderation, do it all the right way, because that's what you said you would do, and that's the way it should be. So, that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope that everybody enjoys this show. I hope that people continue to support me and everything that I'm doing. You can continue to follow my website at MikeJC. MikeJC on wrestling.com. Follow me on Twitter at MikeJC821. And also go to SLTD Wrestling.com, where I do the review features on AEW Dynamite every Wednesday. Usually they are up by Thursday morning. Also, watch out for my gaming podcast that I do with the guys of Headlock Talk. As of right now, we're doing a bi-weekly schedule as soon as things start to pick up in the video game world, as they will in a few weeks. I'm sure we'll be doing more, but we need more support there. We need more eyes on that show. Get it wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also watch it on YouTube. And go to the Linktree to see all the ways you can support that podcast. Linktree/3P GameCast. And that's going to do it for me, guys. As I said, enjoy the show. And thanks again for supporting me. Thanks for sitting tight while I've been kind of recharging. And expect more of these in the coming weeks. Alright. Thanks, guys. I'm done.